But first, Alabama has a new law affecting domestic violence and is going to change how Tuscaloosa County Sheriff deputies investigate those types of cases. WVUA reporter Travis Leader shows you how it only takes a cell phone for someone to commit a crime.
Tuscaloosa County Sheriff Ted Sexton says domestic violence is a growing concern.
Domestic violence is on the rise. We've investigated about 5,000 calls last year. We're up to 6,000 calls this year. So that's a concern to us.
And there are now more laws to help stop the abuse.
These new changes enable us to be more specific. They enable us to look for the aggressor, potential injuries. It enables us to be a little bit more flexible than we have been.
Sexton says something as simple as a threatening text message can be used against domestic violence perpetrators.
The ability to text a threatening message can now also be included as a part of a domestic violence investigation.
Dr. Kathy Eccles says domestic violence victims often do not bring strong attention to texting abuse.
Text messaging now, oftentimes because it's not a blatant form of physical abuse, has been minimized.
Eccles says this should not be the end. There should be more laws and harsher punishments.
I'm always going to feel that way. I'm, glad every time we get something accomplished in the law that it's done, but I'm always going to feel like they should be stricter.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
And if you've been the victim of domestic violence or know someone that needs help, you can contact Turning Point at area code 205-758-0808 or the University of Alabama's Women's Resource Center at 205-348-5040. The Facebook website has been getting a lot of attention recently because of changes it's made to its layout, but investigators remind you it's not just what you see on your screen that you should be concerned about, but who you've been contacting online. Computer forensics investigator William A. Wesson from the Tuscaloosa Police Department says there are some warning signs that you should watch out for.
If they constantly are contacting you at different times, even talking about their business and stuff, but if they're contacting you after hours or you get numerous contacts from them, that would be another thing. And just the way they talk to you.
And Wesson also says if you block someone and that person continues to make unwanted contact with you, this becomes harassment. And he says at that point you should contact your local police department. On your Money Watch, gasoline prices are changing, and this time it's good news for drivers. The Lumberg survey says the national average price for gasoline in the U.S. dropped 12 cents over the past 2 weeks. Regular unleaded sold at the average of $3.38 a gallon last week. The average here in Tuscaloosa is at $3.31 a gallon. But the current U.S. average is still 85 cents higher than it was a year ago. A University of Alabama oil expert says this is due to demand.
Demand for oil has dropped worldwide. Everybody expects that the economies are going to be slow to recover, and they think the demand will stay down, and so people are not running the price of oil up.
And Dr. Clark also says the supply of gasoline is also greater now than it was last year. In other news, today marks the deadline in Tuscaloosa to apply for federal assistance with debris removal. If you have any questions about removal in Tuscaloosa, you can call 311. Meanwhile, Tuscaloosa County probate judge Hardy McCullum says the deadline is for citizens to have as much debris removed as possible by the Army Corps of Engineers. The Corps is under a contract with FEMA, and FEMA is trying to wind down their contract. McCullum says the volume of debris to be removed is decreasing, but the expense of having that debris removed is not decreasing. And McCullum says even after the deadline passes, debris removal will still continue, but he says it will not be as frequent. Now, state officials say they've figured out a way to verify the legal status of vehicle owners under Alabama's new tough immigration law without causing long lines at courthouses. Governor Robert Bentley says the new AL Verify system uses driver's license numbers and expiration dates to verify the legal status of people purchasing or renewing their vehicle tags. The president of the Alabama District Attorneys Association says the system means that tag renewals can still be done by mail or online rather than having to require somebody come into the courthouse and prove their legal residence in person. Now, in national news, the U.S. Senate votes today on a bill to extend government spending until November. As of now, funding is set to run out on Friday. The bill would also give $3.7 billion to FEMA, whose disaster relief funding for victims of natural disasters throughout the USA is almost dried up. The amount is the same as it is in the House Republican bill. Democratic senators shot that bill down, however, last week.